Okay, last time I finished working on PA core and a bit about brain, and I spent some time deploying it on my kind of server, and it's called netbook, and I can even use it like this, and it should work. Oh yeah, here my personal assistant responds to me, and that was a kind of release, and now I'm actually going to work on a next big task, and the task is saying good morning to me in the morning when I turn on my PC. But this requires several changes, and first of it is that brain currently doesn't know anything about users. It gets a message and it replies to that message without looking at what users it was, and instead I want that each brain has its owner, and it only responds to its owner, but there is a command to change owner of this current brain, and it will save some intermediate state and load the state for the other user. So I thought a bit about that, and I wrote down these tests, and now I think I'll simply start implementing this. I'll be coding in Lisp today. That's great. So I use Python to actually test it, because I'm using a behave, and I'll start with this, I think, and if I run behave, it simply runs all the tests I have so far, but I think I will need new tests now. So I'll start with other in fact like this. Okay, the first thing is that brain is connected to translator and the application is started. So first I want brain to ignore messages when no user is active, and that's this test. Brain is started, yes, and user 1 sends a message and brain doesn't respond. How do I do this? And okay, that's user sends a message, and do I have nope, and what about here? No, but okay, like this, and I think this will fail because there is simply no such step, and right, that's it. So I'm going to add this step, and of course that's Python, and then I don't get any reply. And how do I implement this? Oh, that's easy. That's simple one, and that's because I'll have some no. Do I have any kind of oh, this test don't use any kind of polar. I think I will rewrite it later. Okay. And do I have kind of log? No, it's just printing here. Okay, and assert false, except exception. I don't actually know how. Well, okay, I'll say it like this. It should be a timeout. So it's waiting for a second before giving up, and it got a message when no message is expected because this assert is caught as an exception. Wow. There isn't anything I can do about that right now, except maybe have a separate exception for timeout. I can do it like this. Nothing here. And then like this. So now it should fail, and of course it doesn't fail because there is a message. I will even print it here, and well, of course it says that it doesn't understand what I said, and instead I want it to silently ignore that message. And this is where I switch to unit testing, and I have tests, and it's in Lisp already. I have this, and I think I'll create a new test for this, and let's I have a kind of test here, and I can simply copy it and test package. Okay, now I want the test itself, and here I have a function called react, and that function gets a message. That's something that user typed, and it returns a result. It's something that brain responds. Instead, I want the brain to not just process messages that are something that user typed. I will have a new kind of event called a new day to which brain should react, and instead I want a different function that will be accepting a whole message that is, let me check this, and I think it's an A list, I think, because I'm using it to get the message, and I want a function that gets an A list, and then that function will be something like, how did I call it in my scratchpad? It's a function called handle message, and the message will be accepting an A list. Yeah. So I pass an A list to it, and A list is a, oh, I don't really remember, and I guess I'll go and check it. So now that I can find it here. Nope. Oh, yeah, PCL. And an A list is collections. No, I don't think it's here. Probably here. Nope. What about here? It's trees and, oh yes, here, A list. So the A list is a list of cons pairs. So well, that's how I create it. Okay, and let me actually create it. I have a handle message function, and I pass an A list into it, and I create it like this. And the message is, let's see, it uses fields a message from and to. Okay, so message is hello, that's it, and from is a different A list. I think I'll simply copy it, and I guess I'll create a prepared message first. Let me have I'll use this, and from should be an A list of user dot user one, and channel, yeah, I think it's channel, and it will be channel, and that's it for from, and to is a different A list, and it will be to user channel is brain, I guess. Did I use? Yes, I use channel brain. And message is space here. Should be no space. It should be like I think it's like this. And it's message hello, and it's from and it's to accept. There should be a dot here and a dot here. To think that's it. I should try and print it. And I should check how do I fail tests and proof. That's a testing framework I use, and this isn't. Is there some kind of fail? Oh yeah, there is a fail. Format. It's format T, and I want to have it just print it, and that's message I want to print, and then I fail. Yeah, like this. And I have a makefile with a test to run it, and yep. So yeah, it prints exactly what I want, and I wonder if I have a JSON here. Do I have a JSON here? And that JSON with object. Oh, doesn't matter. Okay, so the message is what I need, and now I can pass that message here, and I want to get an empty list. And when I run this, okay, handle message is undefined. Great, great. Why it's undefined? Well, because I have a package Lisp here, and I should export handle message. Now it fails because there is no handle message function, of course. And that's where I want it. I want a function called handle message, and it gets a message, and it does nothing. And suddenly this test will pass. Yes, great, it passes. But now I want, that's a kind of test. I think there was a way to have subtests, and I guess I had it. Nope. Tests, and like maybe here. Nope. Well, this test did have kind of texture and cleanup and like this, for example. Well, I guess I need some code for that. So if I try to handle message, the result is nil, and that's correct. But if I first handle message, how do I use it? Oh, well, that's simple. That's like this, and it's event switch user, and this event uses the same from and to. So if I handle message, activate message, and after this, handle message should not be empty, and it should, let's see, it should return a message, and the message is not just a string, it's a full, and I think I have, yeah, it should reply hello, but it should be switch from and to, and this test will fail, and that's something that should be working. Oh, a function handle message is undefined. Well, because that's typo, it should be like this, and it fails. Well, oh, that isn't hard to fix, because, well, I can have an active user, and it's nil, and I can say if user effective user. Oh no, even simpler. How do I get like this? I can try and do this. Let event Is it event? Yes, it's event. Suck event from message. And if event q active user t. And I think I can even make it simpler. And if active user, then how do I do this? Oh, it's okay if it will return something when it sets a user. For now, I'll check that it returns nothing. So if active user, it will return, well, oh, it will return some string, and it will return nothing otherwise. And does it work? It fails. Well, that's because it returned test, and it should be returning quite a complex A list, and I will make a hard-coded list for now, and it will be returning hello. That's a message, and from oh, that's a bit too complex. User energy and channel brain, that's from and to user 1 and channel just channel, and that's what it should be returning, and the test passes. Great. I should deal with colors in this test, and I think I know how to do it. I shall look in my old tests. But that's it for now. That's a start. It isn't working yet. Oh, it's working but does nothing useful yet, but it's definitely a start. That's it.